After months of pushing the narrative that the Raptors will run it back with the same roster, a contingent of Raptors beat reporters are changing gears in a major way. As it starts off with Michael Grange coming out with a report teasing a blockbuster trade involving Pascal Siakam. And we'll break down this report, what other reporters have basically been saying, and the potential possibilities of a Siakam trade in the coming weeks as the transaction market heats up, as apparently the Atlanta Hawks, amongst other teams, are seriously getting involved in discussions and talks. So we'll break it all down in this video. So let's jump into the report that's coming out from Michael Grange, as basically he came out and said that an interesting player to monitor as the NBA transaction market heats up is Raptors Pascal Siakam. He keeps hearing his name out there from multiple sources, and Atlanta is still interested, as it is something to watch. So this is fairly intriguing, especially where a lot of these guys have continuously been saying, oh, the Raptors will likely be bringing it back. Everything they're hearing, these teams, the Raptors have to maintain the philosophy of wanting to go in the direction of bringing back Fred, bringing back Siakam. They believe in this squad. I mean, just a week ago, Michael Grange was saying the Toronto Raptors believe that they are at the level of Miami Heat. Even though we were the same regular season-wise, the Heat end up going to the finals and definitely have a lot more of a roster that makes sense than what the Raptors showed last season. So a lot of people called him crazy, but that's what the Toronto Raptors believed, according to Michael Grange sources. But after losing Fred VanVleet, which seemed like a shocker to the Raptors front office, even if it didn't surprise a lot of fans of the team, it seems like the direction, the narrative might be shifting in a way where the front office is more open to making a big deal to sort of blow up this roster. Now, the first signs of this sort of brought up, in the past couple days when the Raptors shocked everybody and decided to bring back Chatty Thaddeus Young, because he was a DNP coach's decision type of player for basically the entire second half of the season. And the Raptors said, oh, that doesn't matter. We're going to give you $8 million per season. So feels like the Raptors wouldn't do that unless they want to have a guy to match salary in potential trades. Now, I talked about the value of Thaddeus Young's potential contract in the previous video regarding Damian Lillard and how he could be slid into there to make the money work with bigger packages. But also, if we do end up breaking a blockbuster trade involving Pascal Siakam, Thaddeus Young could also be used in one of those scenarios. So it seems like the Raptors are sort of setting themselves up on that front, and another Raptors beat reporter sort of jumped in on the action when talking about the Atlanta Hawks, saying, bringing up this report, responding, saying that lots of interesting possibilities, but the Raptors really liked Kobe Buffkin in the draft. So if you're not familiar with Kobe, he was drafted to the Atlanta Hawks. He's a guard that's 6'4", played for, I believe it's Michigan if I'm not mistaken, but 14 points per game, 5 rebounds, 2 assists per night, 3 assists per night. He's a solid 3-point shooter. His field goal percentage is up high. He can slash. He can do a lot of things out there on the court. And played for Michigan. And Eric Koreen basically said that the Raptors had some high interest in him. And we heard it a lot last week about how the Atlanta Hawks were desperately trying to acquire Pascal Siakam. After the Raptors kind of shut down talks for a long while, the Atlanta Hawks remained persistent, believed they could get a deal done. And on the surface level, it doesn't feel like the Atlanta Hawks have what it really takes in order to make a blockbuster trade with the Toronto Raptors, but there are a lot of guys on the roster, and a few that I did dive into previously. I'll bring up his stats again, right? DeJounte Murray, he's a guy that's averaging 21 points per game, 5 rebounds, 6 assists last season, 46% from the field, 34% behind the three-point line. We discussed him a lot in previous videos, but could be a player that at the heart of a potential Pascal Siakam trade wouldn't be horrible, but there would have to be some serious assets tied along to it. Now, Trae Young is not going to be in any of these deals. That was rebuffed when all these rumors really started circulating last week. Clint Capella is not someone I'm that interested in, especially where we have a better center in Jakob Poeltl on a longer-term deal already locked into the squad. So Capella's not someone I'm that intrigued by, but a dude that was the son of a former Raptors assistant coach in AJ Griffin. 9 points per game, 2 rebounds, 1 assist in his rookie season. A really strong three-point shooter, shooting close to 30% from the three-point line. Can slash at the rim. He had a game winner against the Toronto Raptors last year. He could be a guy attached in a package that'd be encouraging for a Raptors fan. DeAndre Hunter, again, is on a pretty big salary, so combining him and DeJounte would be, the Raptors have to make the money work with a potential Thaddeus Young deal. He would be someone that I wouldn't be disappointed in bringing back to the team. And a guy that I feel like just is a quintessential Toronto Raptor. Probably doesn't fit what the Toronto Raptors are doing right now, but if we're making blockbuster trades, it makes sense. But Onyeka Okongwu, 10 points per game, 7 rebounds, really strong defender, 1.3 blocks per night, athletic, plays more of a 4, he's like an undersized center, and the Raptors have an abundance of those style of guys, but Okongwu's young with a lot of potential that hasn't really been given a giant opportunity to shine with the Atlanta Hawks. Probably wouldn't get a huge opportunity with the Toronto Raptors as currently constructed, but just feels like the exact player Masai Ujiri would be extremely interested in bringing into the Toronto Raptors. So there's some assets, there's some interesting players out there on the Atlanta Hawks that could excite Masai Ujiri in the front office. Again, it's pretty surprising that these reports are coming out, especially where the Raptors seem to be blocking off a lot of trades last week. But, the beat guys are now getting some insights that the Raptors could be potentially dealing Siakam. Bringing back Jakob Poeltl also seems to indicate that they want to use the Yakin skills sort of front court to test things out, see what happens. As obviously they're two close buddies, close friends in the league. We just acquired him halfway through last season, so I'd still be surprised if a deal ended up going down. I feel like we need some more rumbling, some more smoke, some more reports heating up before I'm really sold on the Pascal Siakam getting moved. Bandwagon is imminent. My goodness gracious. But I could see where the teams are coming from. The Atlanta Hawks were definitely a team that were mentioned, as Grange just sort of brought up. The Sacramento Kings also had a lot of discussions, a lot of smoke going on about the Sacramento trying to swoop in and make a trade for Pascal. They just extended Harrison Barnes. They just had a massive extension for Domantas Sabonis down there. So they're trying to win now at this point. And Siakam is certainly a dude that will win now. Keegan Murray, plus some assets, plus some players. Keegan Murray is definitely a really solid guy I'd like on the Toronto Raptors. But again, more pieces would have to come back to Toronto if I'm really going to be letting go with Pascal Siakam. I mean, he's an All-NBA guy, 2-time All-NBA player, an NBA champion, and not just one of those fringe NBA champions. He was the number 2 option, the number 2 scorer at least. Kyle Lowry's probably the second best player on that championship roster. Pac was without a doubt number 3. Him and Kawhi were setting historic records, historic duos, and just keeping a guy like Pascal Siakam around now. And, I made a couple videos already on the Damian Lillard drama, that whole sweepstakes that's going on now at this point, but if Damian Lillard's your number 1 option, you can't get much better for a number 2 than Pascal Siakam, right? Obviously, if you have 2-1 options on your team, then that's amazing. But, in terms of the 1A options, Siakam is championship proven. He's not someone that you give up for nothing. Not someone you give up for no type of deal. So I don't think he'll get dealt in a potential Portland Trailblazers trade with Damian Lillard if those if those talks happen between Portland and Toronto. But I do think the Raptors should hold on to him if we do have plans of acquiring a bigger star in the coming weeks. But we'll see what ends up happening. The madness continues here with the Toronto Raptors. If you guys want to stay up to date with everything regarding this team, definitely hit that subscribe button. It means the world to me. Anyways, folks, you guys are the best for making this far. We'll be live live with Riker. Lots of covering all these videos and all that. I'm not sure when this video is going to be going up, before or after the live stream tonight, but you guys are the best. I'm signing out. Cheers.